I think that'll do.
I don't think so. Oh, hey, I'm Kevin Bailey.
I'm Hayden Mooney.
Today we're going to talk to you about RIT packs and their integration into the Louisville Fire Department.
Hey everyone, the RIT packs are going to start making their way into the stations for some hands-on training and then eventually onto the apparatus. This video is a reference for each station to go over the components of the air pack and how they interact with the three generations of air packs that we carry. The Air Pack 75, the X3, and the X3 Pro. And then at the end of this, we're going to talk about what to do if you're ever called into a RIT team situation within another department that uses a different style air pack. The first part of this that we're going to be talking about are the components of the RIT pack on the outside and the inside. So on the outside, we have two storage compartments. Our console, which has 4 lights, just like your HUD display on your air pack would. You have 2 greens, a yellow, and a red. This is for whoever's paying attention to the air would know where the bottle is at that particular time. You have your obvious skid plate, your 2 handles if you have to pull, and your hookups for your webbing if you have to strap somebody in to that end. On your low pressure side, low ball is the word we're going to remember. So low ball, low pressure. When you open this up, you're going to have your mask with your regulator inside. This is how it should be stored every time it goes back in the RIT pack. You're going to have your manifold, which is your hookup for this mat regulator and hose. And it's also going to be the hookup for the X3 Pro on the regulator side. The male end is non-usable for us. We don't use anything that would use the male end of this manifold. So if you come across and thinking you need to use this, don't. This is what we need to remember off this manifold. The only thing we're using on this is the female end. On the high pressure side, high T is the word we need to remember. So high T, we open that up. We have our high pressure line, which is a 4-foot rigid air line. On this, you're going to have some high vis tape. So whenever you reach in, you're going to know where it is if you're not in a blacked out environment and your light can see it. On morning checks, take the cap off. You need to make sure that the tip is free of debris, not chipped, and it's ready to go whenever called upon. If you're ever having to put this back after checks, because it is rigid, we're just going to shove it back in where we can see it and grab it whenever we need to get into the high pressure side. The bottle we have in here is a 45-minute bottle, which is standard across the entire department, so switching them out shouldn't be any problem. Normal hookup that you would have the same on an air pack, screws in, make sure that your bottle corresponds with your console when checking it in the morning and that they are the same. So when we're hooking up to our low pressure side with what's in the bag, like I said earlier, the female side is the only side that we're going to use. So our male end of our regulator into our female connection on the manifold. The bottle is turned on. This is going to be a difficult connection because of the pressure behind it. It doesn't matter necessarily if you pull back, but you can press in and it's going to take a good strong push to get it in there because of the pressure. Once I have it in, I know that I have air in, I know that air's working through there, and then to get it off, press in, pull back, just like any connection we would regularly have. Just know that this is a hard connection. You're going to need to get some force behind it to get it in there. So as you have your regulator connected to the low pressure manifold, if you had to hook up to your firefighter, your mask is going to be here. To get this air started, the button on the front is your air activator switch. Just like you have up top to turn this off, you have an air activator switch on this in case air does not start flowing when you have this hooked up to the firefighter. To get that to stop, you press your air saver switch up top, but the pressure up here is what you're going to press if you don't have air flowing. Give that a thumb press, and you have air. We need to bleed this off. If you have pressurized the system and you need to bleed off, you do have your purge. That if you can bleed the air off that way, if your bottle's turned off, you have another way on your high pressure side as well. There's a button onto your high pressure side and it says press to release. If you press this, you release all the air that's left in the hose line and your pack will be ready to go again. When storing your low pressure mask and your manifold back into the pack after use, make sure your cap goes back on. Make sure your regulator is back in your mask and your webbing is back over the front of the mask. Stick in with the mask facing out and your manifold is going to go right over top and you should have your manifold velcroed in on the top part. The next thing we're going to be talking about is the actual air packs that we have and how it works with this RIT pack. The first two are our older generation air packs, our Air Pack 75 and our X3. These have one option as far as hooking up into this pack from the RIT pack. That is the high pressure side. So, as we stated earlier, left for life, on the left side of every pack, you're going to have your high pressure connection into your reducer. When I connect, I have a green line that's going to show that I have a good connection. And just like with the low pressure side, whenever this is pressurized, it's going to be a hard press and it's going to have the pressure behind it, so you're going to have to give it a little elbow grease to get it in there. But once you do, I know that I'm here, I'm connected in, I've got a green line. It will equalize the bottles. It won't completely fill it, it'll just equalize the two. With the X3, the same thing applies. My reducer on the left side has a high pressure fill. When I pull out the hose, I connect. I have my green line to show that I am in good connection. Get it off, pull back off, and I'm ready to go. The X3 Pro is the new pack that we're going to be getting on all the engines and trucks. Currently, they are on engine 8 and engine 5, the ones with the quick connect. Engine 3 also has these packs. They do not have the quick connect, but they are going to get them. So our quick connect is just a connection from our low pressure airline to our regulator, so that if we had to use a connect off of here, we could connect from our low pressure manifold into the firefighter's face piece. The thing we want to remember is that if I take this off of the firefighter's pack and I try to use this is not doing anything for the firefighter. He's not getting any air because this will be connected to his face. So make sure that if I'm connecting, whatever I pull off, whatever hand the regulator is in, that's the hand that's going to connect to our female end of our low pressure manifold. To get this off, press in, pull out, and we're disconnected. We're going to try and pay attention to the prongs to make sure that they're not trying to connect into the male fitting, because it won't press in. So we're just going to move it to the side and press in. So when the bottle is charged and I connect in to the firefighter, again, it's a hard press, and you have your vibro alert going off. The reason you have your vibro alert going off is it's a high pressure connection. If there's a situation where you're rescuing a mutual aid firefighter who has an MSA or Draeger, all of their air packs have a quick fill connection that you would have on the reducer that this pack will hook to. The same thing that you would do to our packs, you would hook into theirs, but this is our only option if you're having to go get somebody from a different department who has a different air pack. The other thing I want to point out while we're training with this Try not to use this on our packs with a bottle connected to it where it is going to equalize. We're going to give you some air packs with a bottle that you can practice on. There's an O-ring on these that pressurized too many times will blow. So we want to make sure that when we're using this in training, when we're going to use it around the station, disconnect the bottle from the air pack, and that way we can get the feel of the connection into the reducer and into the RIT pack so that they will have a high pressure connection. We don't want to blow any of those O-rings, so make sure we're disconnected off of here, make sure this is turned off, and we'll connect until we get into a live training scenario where we can use some real air packs and you can connect to and equalize the air.